Today we're going to be installing these Elkhorn racks from Old Man Mountain on our state 4130 all roads. This is the second video in our bike packing series. In our last video we just got these brand new steel bikes, and this is the racks that we're going to be using on these bikes. So really excited to install them today. We're going to be installing a front rack on Katie's bike and a rear one on mine. But the Elkhorn is actually a multi-purpose rack that you can install on the front, the back, through axles. You can install it to the eyelets. So it's a really versatile rack, and we're really excited to have a set of them here for both of our bikes. So, ooh, look at those. Oh, so that's something worth noting too. There's a short and a tall. Most bikes like gravel bikes and 27.5 mountain bikes will work with the short, but if you have really beefy tires on a 29er, you'll want to get the tall one. Ooh, look at that deck. It's so fancy. It's packaged so nicely. I love that. I feel like Old Man Mountain is just like the brand that I kept coming across when I was looking into bike packing stuff, and I just feel like that's why we wanted to reach out to them to see if they would work with us. These are the uprights, so it comes with two of these. Here's some hardware. We got our other upright here, and then these are our extenders. So this is how we're gonna fit them on the front, these smaller extenders, and then we got longer extenders for the back. And everything feels extremely lightweight, so it's really cool. All right, well, I guess we'll start with your bike.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool that the instructions are kind of in the packaging, which is pretty sweet.
This is super light.
I know.
Look,
Isn't it insane how light it is? Super cool. Oh, and by the way, we reached out to Old Man Mountain to send us these racks in exchange for just kind of using them in our bike packing series and creating this review video. So thank you so much to Old Man Mountain. Again, this is a product that we would totally love to spend our own hard-earned money on. So I was really excited that they were willing to work with us. And these are like the best ones too. We were almost going to get the divide rack, but I feel like this was more for our style because of the 3-pack mounts on the side here. Yeah. I just felt like it was a little bit more versatile.
That's so cool.
And we don't have like pannier bags or anything like that, so I felt like this would work better. It's kind of a simpler option since we're just getting into bike packing.
So first you want to do is get one of your uprights, and then you line it up and you put the bolt in, and then you do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we're going to install this with the deck side, the long piece of it facing out, and then the uprights on the outside of the deck because it just fits better that way. It's our special guest Olive. Say hi. Say hi to your fans.
Olive!
You gonna go bike packing with us?
Food only weighs 16 pounds, so in theory she should be able to go on this rack because it is rated for 25 pounds.
Got some bolts. So after you put a tiny bit of grease, you put that in there. And we're gonna go on the inside of the bike rack just because of the way it's sitting. Just seems to sit better on the inside. And they suggest that you could cut this tip off here with a hacksaw, but you don't have to. And we were thinking it might be more stable if we put it down in this area here. We also thought you could put it up here, but then it might not be as stable, but it will be cleaner looking because you can't see the end of it. But we think we're gonna put it down here for the stability. So these 3 bolts are going to be 6 Newton meters, and then these 2 are going to be 3 Newton meters. Let me look at it. Whoa, that's so cool. What a nifty little piece. Really good for bike packing.
Really good for, by the way.
Really good for bike packing, Ellie.
Link in description.
Oh. Link in the bio. Or did you say link in the description? Yeah. Yeah, you can find this bike rack in the description.
Alright, it's time to install mine on the rear end of the 4130 all-road. We're going to try to do speed round on this and just get it in there. I feel like after we did Katie's for the first time, it should be pretty easy. Now, we didn't have to bend the extenders at all for Katie's because it was on the front. Not sure if I'm going to have to bend my extenders, so that could make this video extended if we have to do that, but let's go ahead and get the uprights on, we'll get the deck on, and we'll get the easy parts out of the way. I'm interested to see how it's going to look on the back. I think it might actually end up looking better on the back just because there will be less clearance between the tire and the rack, which I think will just look a little bit more sleek. Not that yours doesn't look sleek, but I feel like if it was down a little bit lower, it would look even better. And that just has to do with where your eyelets are on your fork, and you can't really change that. If there was another one down here, or if you could mount it to there.
Do the through axle?
You could get a through axle, and then they sell kits for this where you could mount it to the through axle, and that would bring it down the appropriate amount to where it's a little bit more snug with the top of your tires. So that could be a potential future upgrade if you decide to keep it on the front long term. Now that we have it on there, let's see where we think it would line up best with the deck. So it's a bit different. I don't know if you can really tell from the angle that you're at, but it's as if there's a smaller distance between these and these right here. So it's almost as though it needs like bent out a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is just try to put the deck on, and just hopefully when I put the bolts on, it just bends it out just enough without putting too much pressure on the eyelets down here by the rear end of the bike. And we're going to put the uprights on the inside of the deck. It just seems to match up a little bit better that way. And we're also going to have the longer part of the deck facing in, so we'll see how that looks. So that seems like it should work. I don't feel like that's too much stress on there, and if anything, it's stress on this part of the upright right here, which is, you know, this could bend over time. I feel like this part, the thicker part, is pretty straight, so I think it should be good. This would be a great time, if you haven't done so already, to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are starting this bikepacking series, and this is the second video in said series. We have yet to go for our first bikepacking trip, but we are right now preparing to do that, and we'll be going really soon. So if you want to see our first bikepacking journey and follow along with us as we get into the world of gravel and bikepacking, do subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, let's get this bad boy leveled out now. Alright, pretty close to perfect there. Now I'm hoping I can complete the mission without having to bend anything at all, but we might have to bend these, which is not as big of a deal as bending the actual uprights themselves, because these you can just buy more of. So I think we're going to want it on the inside. I feel like outside option doesn't look right, but it would be less bending. I feel like that could bend and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Okay, so since I don't own a vise, I'm thinking that this would maybe work to bend them perfectly. So just hear me out on this. Okay, now those should be in there, kind of like a vise. Now we can just ever so carefully bend them to the same degree. Alright, let's take it out. It's a pretty clean bend on there. That should work perfectly. Nice. And since it's wood, didn't scratch it. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, these extenders should now perfectly clear the uprights and the back. And it looks pretty freaking perfect, man. Yeah, it's gonna be so good. Alright, now we're gonna use hardware kit number 2 to connect the extenders to the uprights. Right now we're out for a little test ride with the Elkhorn racks. We just made this little DIY dog crate carrier for Olive, so be sure to subscribe for next week's video because we're going to show you how we made it. Also subscribe for the long-term review of the Old Man Mountain Elkhorn rack. Thank you, Old Man Mountain, for sending us these racks, and thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.